Hey, welcome back to Audio Notes. It's Mustafa. So, I'm really excited to say that self-reflection by gunpoint and quarter life crises are stupid. Now, do they happen? And I'm talking to you specific young leaders out there that, you're just like, let's say you're between 21 and 34 and you're having these moments of just like, oh, damn, things didn't go as expected, or things have been compounding over years. And only when the pain, the psychological pain, not physical, it could be at times, but hopefully it's not. It's the psychological and or spiritual or soulful pain, however you want to call it. It just has reached this tipping point where you can no longer avoid reality. I call that self-reflection by gunpoint, where basically the universe has just punched you square in the teeth so damn hard that now you're like, oh man, you're reevaluating instead of having built it in. The only reason why I could talk about this is I've done this. And that's why I'm able to say, like, this is stupid. Why? Because the existential crisis you're having is actually been giving you signals like a car dashboard where the flash engine light has been blinking a long time before you've actually gotten there. And to say that you don't have time or you don't have time to deal with the data is just screwing yourself, because you're trying. The only reason why the check engine light is flashing is because it wants to keep running and go where you want to go. So it's doing the same thing of saying, you know what, take a step back, right? Build a little bit of self-reflection into your days. That's one of my favorite Peter Drucker quotes. And also experiential learning of just saying, hey, that's how you learn, by going off, trying something actively, coming back, using the data, integrating it, and then moving further. So circling back in this sense to my favorite Peter Drucker quote, which again just goes right to the heart of understanding that you need that time to create the reflection to be able to get better, is this: follow effective action with quiet reflection. From the quiet reflection will come even more effective action. That's so true. That's why the quarter life crisis is so dumb. What's really going on is that you are not creating enough time, because you're reflecting. For you to have a quarter life crisis or a midlife crisis, at the end of the day, it's because you've been on the wrong path, and your body's mechanism for feedback is telling you, hey, get off this path to get on a better path. Well, what you're doing is you're just doing these reflections throughout the day, kind of carrying this loop over the course of, it could be days, weeks, months, hopefully not years, but it probably has been. I know it was in my case. And instead now just building that time in for a little bit of quiet reflection. It could be sitting down, having your cup of coffee, your morning tea, your evening nightcap, whatever you want to call it, for a swim. It doesn't matter. The medium doesn't matter, if you will. What matters is, the method doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that you do this as a daily practice, to say, you know what, and then adjust accordingly. Where it's a little, use the idea of tiny habits, adjust a little bit, create a starter step. You might say, you know what, I don't want to do this thing, I want to take this. For young leaders who are still in college, I don't want to take this class, I want to study this subject. Okay, well, today go to the library, pick out that book, or go have a conversation with the professor to get this syllabus. For startup founders, it's, you know what, in this situation, I'd rather be like this kind of leader versus that kind of leader. So here's the one thing: I'm going to write a little note to myself, post a note, get a frame, put it on my desk to remind me that's the kind of leader I want to be. Right? For managers inside an organization, it's the same. You could be having an issue with a colleague and say, you know what, I'm going to take the method of pearl habits from tiny habits, which is the idea of you take a small irritant, and instead of whether it be getting triggered by it, having a negative response, you turn it into a positive response. Say, every time I see that person, I'm going to kill them with kindness, and I'm going to smile, I'm going to laugh, and I'm just going to keep building that pearl. Those are those things that after quiet reflection of how you can improve, you add that into your system so you can get better. So that's super important to think through and say, a quarter life crisis, self-life crisis, those are dumb simply because you've been avoiding the check engine light on your life for a long time to get to that point. So instead, solve it by having a daily practice of quiet reflection and then adjusting based off that quiet reflection, because you'll get to where you want to go faster.